Excuse me, testing. Testes.
Ovaries and out. Yes, it's all working.
I've not heard that. So when I say testes, that's not a new thing at all. I thought I just came up with that in my room the other day when I was about to record something.
Well, I remember people saying it at Chaos Comedy Restaurant in Sydney in the mid-90s.
Oh.
Testes, ovaries and out.
Wow. So there you go. That's one of those things that you were talking about before. You think you're doing something new or something and someone's done it.
Bastards. Okay.
I've seen, because I wrote a pilot for a TV show, and this was before my kids came along, so that's like 13 years at least ago. And I saw one of my favourite jokes from that. I saw it almost perfectly in an episode of Modern Family.
Well, and what was the joke?
There was about a couple, a husband and wife. I was going to be the husband, and the wife was going to be played by someone I did a play with years ago, pretty much just before I started writing it. And her brother was a real tough guy, almost into the mafia type. Mm-hmm. And he was going to be played by someone that we were talking about just recently, Italian. Mm-hmm. And she was talking about how he'd always been into shady things, and he'd always been very protective of her romantically and wouldn't let men near her, and he beats them up. There's going to be an episode where someone drops her off. He's taken her on a date. She's she's that guy's sister. Some guys turn up, taken her on a date, and he's gone back to his car and it's been set on fire by the brother, and he's running away. And then she says, and he's always been that way, even from a young age. And then it's the sister as a young child in the front yard being talked to by a good-looking young, little kid, boy. And then they look over and his bike's been set on fire. And the little brother's running away.
That's a good joke. And that was in Family Guy or something.
There was an episode of Modern Family where they were talking about, the really hot wife, the South American, and she had a Manny. She had Manny, She had Manny, and they were talking about there was something to do with romantic, and he set a kid's bike on fire because he was talking to a girl that he liked or something. And I just watched that and I went, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, it's frustrating
because I actually started listing in my head the people I'd sent that script to.
Wow.
Because I'd sent it to a few people for feedback.
Yeah. You're listening to episode 4 of the Smooth End of the Pineapple podcast. Now, this is our pre-show ramble before we actually start, but Matt, let's keep all that. Do you think?
Oh, yeah, okay. Really good. Why not?
This is why we haven't played the theme. I didn't want to interrupt, mate. You're on such a good roll there. I came up with a joke years ago.
I didn't realise we were recording.
So I just pressed it and then you started going and I thought, hang on, this is interesting. I'll just hear this. Years ago, when I was at Crazies, I came up with, it's just one of those questions like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Oh, no, that was the rooster. and I know someone else did that somewhere. It's hard,
I've never heard it.
Yeah,
I have now.
Yeah, I'm sure I picked it up somewhere. Someone else saying it. But look, I mean, I think it was before one of the other podcasts we were talking about documentaries and how hard it is, particularly with docos, because you're often dealing with factual things that are out there a lot of people know about. So a lot of people gravitate and think, oh, that's a great idea, and trying to find something that no one's done before. I had this great idea, living fossils, and we had a presenter in England, development money, shot a demo, had distributors interested, and they dropped it at the last minute. It's about a guy who travels back in time and tells the story of evolution through looking at the world's living fossils and their ancestors back in time. Anyway, it turns out there's a kids show called Andy's Prehistoric Adventures, which I'd never heard of until we really got to the pointy end of negotiations with the distributor in England, and it was too similar to that, and I'd never even heard of that show. And just what can you do, But anyway, look, so we're 4.5 minutes into this. Let's play the theme music to start episode 4 of the Smooth End of the Pineapple podcast.
Yay!
So I'm Scot McPhie, and let's begin. So let me press stop this time. I didn't do that last week, as I recall. How have you been in the intervening week, man?
Oh, mate, I've had a lovely week.
Oh, yeah? What did you
I've
get
had
up
a
to?
lovely week. We're down one. Actually, I was about
You were
to
down
say
one member.
we're down one dog, but no, don't think the worst of it. He's just not here this time.
You made a creative decision to leave.
Yes. And see, this is when I'm actually going to find out whether I can do without rubbing a dog at the same time.
Just don't rub me. Put your Batman pillow there.
Yeah, I'll rub the Batman pillow. Wouldn't be the first time.
Okay.
But no, I've had a great... And how about you, mate? How's your week?
Oh, look, it's just, all of this and then some of that and a bit of that. I mean, geez, it's just the way it goes, isn't it?
Bit of that. That's always the way, isn't it? A bit of that and then a little bit more of this and then some of the other sneaks in.
But time just passes. It just seems like 15 minutes ago we were here doing the previous episode. It's just incredible.
It does. It feels like only 15 minutes ago. And it took so long to put the same clothes on and everything.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Continuity.
The effort we go to for this to make it look like we only just finished a little while ago.
I know. It's hard. It takes a crew of none.
It takes a crew of none to make this magic happen.
Exactly. Okay, so this episode, continuing the story, last episode we got up to just where we were about to record our first album. I have our first album here. I'll hold it up for people who happen to be looking on the video. It is called The Smooth End of the Pineapple. Now, originally, so what happened is, you and I think we said 20 sketches, 10 from each of us. We exchanged sketches, emailed them back and forth. And originally, this was going to just be Bell and McPhie. And in fact, I think the first show was billed as Bell and McPhie perform The Smooth End of Pineapple.
It was for a
the
while,
album
yeah.
title. And everyone liked that title so much, and we thought Bell and McPhie is so boring. So that's why we decided to use The Smooth End of the Pineapple as the name for the act. But the thing I'm intrigued at looking here, Matt, is you drew this picture on the front and it looks like a bizarre cross between you and me.
It does. Yeah.
I know, it's a bit too weird.
And the people I showed it to, they would say that. Is that both of you? Well, kind of.
What was your inspiration?
Oh, you know what?
Know.
This was one of those. It's like we talked about doing an accent and stuff. It was not necessarily a technical decision.
Yes.
I just decided this is what I want to draw for the graphic. This is what I generally want the graphic to be. And when I do a cartoon, I just pick a point in the middle of their face and I just see where it goes and see who it turns into. And I was obviously going, this is Scott and myself, this is our souls in here. And I turned it up. I turned up with a Scott Matt Bizarro.
It's a bit too close for comfort, I've got to be honest.
Bizarro's Scat. That's not a good way to do it, is it?
No.
I can't call him Scat. That's got way too many. No, sorry. You cut that out. You can cut that out. We'll be cutting that out. Don't worry.
Yes, exactly.
There's no way that will stay in. It would be crazy to have that stay in. So for the people who are listening now, you will have no idea what the hell I'm talking about because what I'm talking about will have gotten cut out. So
you think?
Good, lots of good podcasting happening here.
Yes. So, okay, just talking about the packaging. So we have that picture on the front. Now, I kept going with the mango pineapple kind of a theme. My company, Mango Go-Go Productions, green and orange pineapples, fruity. We have a pineapple ring on the surface of the disc. And because I'd hoped to do this actually on a record, we've got it side 1 and side 2. If you look on the back, there's actually side 1 and side 2, and there's some very useful instructions on the CD. Turn CD over to play side 2. Don't know if that actually works, but anyway, you can give it a go.
Okay, yeah.
And we have some liner notes. You might like to read the... Oh, no, actually, we don't have liner notes in here. We have two... Matt, you maybe describe what's inside the cover.
Oh, this is a photo of myself and a photo of you taken in your old place,
living room in Maruka,
taken where we originally. These are historic photographs.
That house will be worth something one day because that album was recorded.
Historic photographs, and look at these young men. Oh, look at these hot
hair's
young
a bit darker
men
there.
here. And I really do like, you wrote these liner notes. Computer simulation of what Matthew Bell would look like recording in a suburban living room and not a state-of-the-art digital recording studio. The curtains are a mistake.
I got to admit, I was kind of slightly channeling Spike Milligan there by saying such and such is a ruse. He used to do that a bit.
And Scot McPhie trying to make his ears smaller after unsuccessfully fending off an attack by a packet of texters. The candle is unintentional.
And that, if you saw the photo, it makes sense because I'm wearing a very colourful 1980 shirt that my grandmother gave me in 1988, and I still have that shirt. It's much loved and treasured. And I have some kind of strange compression device on my ears to make them smaller.
It looks like a real like a cross between Ken Doan and it makes me think of that Sweet and Sour. You remember that there was an ABC TV show when we were little-uns about a rock band called Sweet and Sour.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a ripper. Had great music.
Yeah, it's 80s style artwork.
And you know what? I have the LP of that show.
Oh, wow.
The music from Sweet and Sour was released as an LP, and I've got it somewhere in a box.
One day,
the wind blows hot and cold. Life can be sweet and sour, but I am in control.
Yes.
Do.
You need to tell Dennis this. He'll love that. He's probably even got that. And I'm wearing headphones. I think probably had headphones there too. So we recorded this just with this little Zoom H4n recorder in my living room and with lapel mics. And mixing it was quite a challenge. I've got to say that it's not a very well mixed album at all. And I'm kind of stuck in a bind. Do I go back and mix it so it's actually decent and conforms to normal audio standards, or do I keep this as an artifact of how it was?
Yeah, but it's mixed. That's the big thing.
Well, yeah.
Whether it's mixed, it's mixed.
Yeah.
You know, I had no idea how to mix it.
Yeah. Well, after that, I went and
does have
a bit.
as you say, the CD is a slice of pineapple.
Yes.
Where else are you going to get that?
I know.
You know, where else are you going to get a CD?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you can you stream this? Some of these are on our YouTube
I don't know,
channel.
but you can still get these little bits of history from Amazon.
Yes, that's right. These albums are available on Amazon. I don't think you can buy the individual tracks because we're kind of a bit tight on money, and there's a registration thing. You have to get a publishing company to do it before they or even Spotify will do it. And anyway, so look, you can hear bits and pieces on YouTube. We put a few there, and you can buy the album on Amazon.
And look, who would just want to buy one?
Yeah,
you know,
buy heaps.
Unless
give them to your friends, give them to your enemies.
Yeah, unless they're looking for a really interesting ringtone.
The theme music could be ringtone.
Yeah. I would like a functioning clone.
Yeah. Well, so I've got my notes here for this episode, Matt, and this is what I've got. Matt, your memories? ? I've got my living room, birds, neighbours. If you listen carefully, you will hear some of the Mickey birds in our backyard pop up on that recording.
And there is the extra special features of the dude next door doing some woodwork, isn't there?
Yes, I think there's a saw. And it's funny, it's been the bane of my life trying to film or record things in suburbs. You kind of think they're quiet to actually try and record something, and they are not. And if you try and do a period film or something, it's 100 times worse. They're just very, very noisy environments. Now, another thing, we had no rehearsal for this. We rocked up. Do you remember that? Yeah, we just rocked up.
Yeah.
And maybe we read through them once or twice and then did them.
Yes,
that's
and
crazy.
I had that particular thought while we were getting ready to lay those tracks down. I thought, we've not rehearsed this at all.
I know.
We just wrote it and showed each other and turned up and did it.
Yeah,
it's
but
ridiculous.
It turned out quite well, I got to admit. Okay, well, look, why don't you pick Matt a sketch off here? I'm just turning away from my mic. I think we probably don't have a lot to actually say about this whole thing. I think we've covered everything. No rehearsal, recorded in a living room, badly mixed, a lot of fun.
How very rock star of us.
Yeah, exactly. So let me just.
Oh my God.
Okay, what have you found?
I just saw old voiceover guy.
Ah, okay.
Oh, wow.
Where I love at the fringe, smoothing of the pineapple. Okay.
There are so many on here that I've not thought about.
Okay, do we want to hear?
Foreskin archaeology.
Okay. Do you want to hear old voiceover guy?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Here we go. Hang on. Let me open with. Let me remember how to use a Windows computer. Here we go.
Good morning, Sir David.
Good morning.
I'd just like to say, Sir David, that we're so grateful that you've agreed to do this voiceover for us.
Not at all, not at all.
This is our first documentary album, and to have someone of your caliber, you're standing within the performing arts.
Oh, please.
No. We are just so grateful.
Really, I'm happy to do it.
No, well, thank you so much. Knowing your reputation, you'll probably only need one take, right?
People say those silly things. Right. Now, I'll just start from the top, shall I?
Whenever you're ready, Sir David.
The pineapple-eating porcupine of Venezuela is typical of most animals indigenous to that region, in that it has a instinctive need to find... Yes?
Was that a take just then?
Yes, of course. Why?
Well, it's the breath.
You want me not to breathe?
No, of course not.
Because I've been in this game for many years now, and I still need to do that.
Of course. Let's just start from the top, perhaps.
All right. The pineapple-eating porcupine of Venezuela is typical of most animals. Indigenous to that region, and it has a instinctive need to find this... What is it?
I'm not quite sure about...
I have won awards, you know.
Oh, yes, of course, I realise that. It's more the, smell.
Never mind. I'm done with this. Oh, my God. Never been so humiliated in my life.
Man, are you alright there?
Oh my god! Oh man, I've not
heard that for a long time.
We just turned up and did that.
And all the farts were real too.
Oh my! Wow, I have not. I'd completely forgotten this. I should really look at our albums more often and just see what's on there. You're like, well, yeah, we did that. I wrote that. Oh my god!
I love the deep resonant voice.
Oh,
and
the deep resonant
of the
voice
character.
of Sir
And then he farts. and that, from my point of view, is one of the first sketches where I found the power of how you mix really adds so much, and putting the EQ on the voice so it sounds like I'm in the control room, and then the switch on and off.
I was thinking that when you were just playing, I thought, wow, you really did. So when you say you had no idea or it wasn't mixed properly or whatever you said just before, that's not really true.
Well, that one sounds pretty good. No, it's the over. I listened to this maybe 3 or 4 months ago in the car, and it's a dynamic range. It's so you don't get a huge difference between the loudest sound and the softest sound. You kind of bring the loud ones down a bit and the soft ones up a bit, and it's funny because your ears, if suddenly you get really loud, and I won't scream into this mic to demonstrate, but if suddenly you get really loud, it gives you a headache. We've all probably experienced that. But dynamic range or high contrast is actually really pleasing to the eye, but it's not pleasing to the ear. It's just funny the way our eyes and our ears work differently. And yet, our eyes, if we look at a wall, so that kind of cream-coloured wall over there is actually a mixture of a number of colours. And if we had a spectrograph of the colours, to me it looks like it's got green in there as well. It's very hard to separate out colours with your eye, the different frequencies. But with your ear, you can separate out the different frequencies. So when you hear a symphony orchestra, you can pull out the different instruments, even though it's the one sound all blended together coming to you. So, so it's quite different how the brain works, and so with those different senses. And so for the ear, it's the compression and dynamic range. And there's a few bits in the start of this that just need a bit of mixing to set it in. And you know what, mate, for the sketch that I'm going to play, why don't I might play the actual very introduction, because we actually did a lot of different things with that. That was actually kind of fun. And, maybe the dynamic range might be a bit over the place, but But yeah, so look, I'll play that intro. Well, hang on, let's finish talking about our voiceover guy. The pineapple eating porcupine. That captured my imagination. Is there such a thing?
The pineapple eating porcupine of Venezuela,
Yeah,
was it? The Venezuela.
That's right.
Did that actually? That's an interesting question. Did I? I wonder if I wrote that after we'd become the smooth end of the pineapple,
Venezuela.
or whether
No, it would have been before.
It would have been before.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Nice little
perhaps
time.
I contributed in some way
Yes,
towards the naming of the.
Well, I
group.
don't know where that title came from. I mean, it's just one of those things that bounces. I don't know. But there is. If you Google that phrase, there was a restaurant called the Smooth End of the Pineapple in Sydney that got in trouble with having very sexist urinals. They look like an open female mouth. It's pretty gross, isn't it? And yeah, they thankfully got in a bit of trouble about that.
Did they?
But now, if you Google that, hang on, them.
I wonder what the toilets were in the shape of. If that's the urinals.
I don't
hang
want to know.
on now.
But if you Google that phrase, it virtually 99% of the hits are us. So I don't know, it's not out there very much.
99% of the hits.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
More hits than the urinals.
That's it.
With
Okay.
Smooth End of the Pineapple.
But back when we were Bell and McPhie,
This
this is how we started the first album. Have a listen to this. Good evening and welcome to the album. If you are listening to this record during the day, I must kindly ask you to stop so as to avoid me the acute embarrassment of having said good evening when in fact what I should have said was good day. So please press stop on your CD, tape player or media device or lift the needle off your record player. Thank you. Look, I'm sorry I've had to ask you to do that. I hope it wasn't too traumatic for you. All I can say is I will do my best to make sure that never, ever, ever happens again. I promise. That is my solemn promise to you. If you could just bear with me now, I'll just pick up the pieces and put together what remains of my life. Thank you. You bastards! Well, welcome back. I'm glad we got that sorted out. So now it's on with the debut comedy album from Bell and McPhie. So how should we start?
Something dramatic. No, not quite that dramatic. How about something sexy?
Oh, can I do my calculus song? Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about, babe. The end of a long, hard day, you just wanna lie down and factorize something. It doesn't matter whether X is a dependent variable or even Y. Take a good, long, hard look at those curves. Tell me you've never considered the rate of change inherent in the function. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Calculus. Let's consider the equation y equals sine x squared theta x on the cube root of...
Yeah, enough of that. Better get on with it. We're being paid by the slug.
By the slug? I thought we were being paid in slugs. It's the only reason I'm doing it.
No, by the slug.
We interrupt this introduction to bring you a sketch. Brought to you by the Australian Slug Association. Come to Empress Gardens, the wonderful garden and fun fair of the Australian Slug Association. See 5 species of slug in their natural habitat. 3 flights leaving daily from all mainland capitals. Tasmanians not welcome. You'll scare the slugs.
We interrupt this ad for the Australian Slug Association and would like to formally apologise to all Tasmanians for saying you aren't welcome. That should have read South Australians.
We interrupt this interruption to give you this. This is a slug reading the opening of Patrick White's The Tree of Man. Oh, he's fallen asleep, slid down the page and now it's been squished. Well, no Nobel Prize for that little fellow. But did you know Australia has over 74 species of slugs, the largest and most impressive of which is the Great Australian Fur Slug. Once widely distributed all around the country, it was viciously hunted for its fur and can now only be found on Wednesday night. And there we go, that was the introduction. Including your in there, which I left in there. That's right at the end.
I was actually wondering whether I was going to interrupt with something, but it really was just me going
Yes, exactly.
into the microphone very, very unprofessionally.
Well, I mean, because we just had lapels pinned on us, we're probably not even thinking about microphones half the time.
How is it that I had pretty much zero recollection
forgotten all
of any of that?
I don't know, probably because we recorded it, and then, once you heard the album at the time, I mean, because I was mixing it, I kind of spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah, and I guess we were always, what we've been doing the whole time, we record something or whether we do a show or whatever, but we're always then, we're almost straight away thinking, well, what's next?
Yes.
What are we going to do next?
Exactly. And
what stuff are we going to get down next? Because we've been writing stuff, we need to record this other stuff.
And I reckon that's a really healthy way of doing it. I mean, I honestly think we've got 100 sketches at least, and I just honestly want to get them all recorded. We've got...
See, maybe from a creative point of view, it's best that no one knows about us and no one's giving us any kind of celebrity, because then it would be very...
Turn off now if you like this.
Yeah, we wouldn't be
sake.
writing more slug sketches or anything like that with farting if we were in a jacuzzi in Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, we got to get out there at 3 p.m. for our hours work day.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
This
Life
sucks.
is so tedious.
Preferred it when I was a broke creative.
Yeah. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've definitely got heaps of material. But anyway, so that was the first album. Now, at this stage, I found the date, and I can't remember it. I think it was somewhere in 2012. And we were still doing a bit of human interface passes, so. Sorry, what are you laughing at?
Leave that in with my...
my big cough into the mic there. You won't catch anything. You won't get an ear infection. Boom, boom. Don't worry.
I might.
Okay. Yes.
I'm keeping my earphones on.
So anyway, I can't remember what I was saying now. We were still doing some and look, I mean, that all petered out. Man versus Platypus did. You and I kept going. I edited Human Interface Pass. That's right. I'd moved to Toowoomba, and I was still just finishing up some odds and ends on that. And Alexandra McTavish, along with her partner at the time, Paul Ossick, was running the Anywhere Festival in Brisbane, and they invited us to perform the album in the festival. And we thought, well, why not? And that's going to be the topic of the next episode, our debut performance.
And I gotta say, I'm always be a little bit miffed that I missed out on all the sketch recording stuff. I got here too late for when you were recording things like Hamlet and the Job Centre and...
Oh, do you mean
the
in
sort of
Human Interface Passer?
Yeah, the stuff you recorded with Alex and Joseph and...
Yeah, but it's always hard doing stuff when you don't have a lot of means with which to do them, because you're split between acting and doing the camera. And I mean, Derek was doing the camera as well, and it's hard, but it's doing the audio. And I guess that's one reason why we like doing the audio, is it was far more within our means to do a good quality product than doing a good quality video. And we have talked a number of times about doing some films, and that is something I would still dearly love to do, and I think could be the subject of a fundraiser once we get enough bigger audience outside that of just our live shows. But yeah, I mean, doing the it was fun filming that stuff, but doing this audio is more fun, is what I'm saying. So don't feel bad. We're doing even funner and better and greater stuff. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, look, next. So why don't you pick one more sketch off the album, Matt? And we'll go out on that. And next episode, we'll talk about our first performance. But anyway, we don't want to make this all about us. We're going to talk about other things in the course of these podcasts as well. But we just thought as introductions for people. Anyway, so last sketch, Matt, off.
Okay. Okay. Let's go another really early one. Let's have Flash Race.
Flash Race. Okay. Here we go. And this is one of your, when it became apparent to me, your love of superheroes. Yes, Commissioner. Okay. Open with. Here we go. All right.
Welcome back to the Superhero Olympics for the 5,000 metres now. 5,000 metres, that's 5 full laps of this enormous stadium. There's Batman in line 1 checking his utility belt. The lovely Amazon Wonder Woman in Lane 2 there, making sure her magic lasso is firmly in place. Let's hope we don't have the repeat of last year when she accidentally tied herself up with it and rendered all the men incapable of running. Flash there in lane 3 doing some quick stretches. Boom, boom. Right, they're all taking their places now. This is very exciting. The starter's gun is in the air, and there it goes! They're off! And the Flash has won it. Yes, Flash is our first place getter today in the Superhero 5,000 metres. And second place is being held by the Batman with 4,950 metres to go, followed by Spider-Man and then Wonder Woman. Flash is being congratulated by the officials at the finish line. They're loving the lightning motif on the Flash's costume. Red and gold there. Batman still holding second place with 4,900 metres to go now. And the Flash is now back on the field. He's had a shower and a shave, and he's now back out there talking to some lovely looking young ladies. Batman's still in second place there with 4,850 metres to go. Well, we'll go to a break and return with the remaining 4,850 metres of the Superhero 5,000 metres after these messages.
Well, what a nice little sketch that is, Matt.
Thank you.
And great voice work too.
Oh, thank you. I did enjoy it.
Yeah, and that was
great work, bringing it to life.
Yeah, it was fun mixing that and finding the different crowd sounds and kind of blending in the intensity of the cheering and that. It was, there was a fun little one to do.
And considering that was, you starting out along that road.
It was real fun. Okay, well, we might leave it there for this episode. And thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Scott McPhie.
And I'm Matt Bell.
We're the smooth end of the pineapple. Look us up on the interwebs, as the kids say.
Yeah, interwebs.
What is it? Smoothpineapple.com?
Smoothpineapple.com.
I did look for pineapple, and that's pineapple.com. That's taken. Pineapple.com.au's taken. I tried to make it simple. Smoothpineapple.com. We're also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all of the stuff. Righto, Matt. Well, what do you got coming up for the week ahead? I'm
going to fire my
your secretary.
Fire the person who writes quick answers for me when people ask me something on a podcast. I'm going to fire up my animation program. I haven't done any cartoon work for a while.
Yes, we need to talk about that at some stage. Yeah.
Excuse me. My turn now.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, we look forward to that, and we'll see you all next time on the Smooth End of the Pineapple. Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh.